Today we are in one of the most popular areas in one of the most popular countries for expats who want to live in Southeast Asia.
It has a lot going for it, and we can see why people like it. So we're going to look at the 10 factors that matter most to expats and give each one a thumbs up or a thumbs down to see if it makes our list of good places to move abroad.
We are in Chiang Mai City. It's located in the Chiang Mai province in north central Thailand. It's surrounded by mountains. It's over 700 years old, and there are about 1.2 million people that live in the entire metro area.
There is the old city, which is surrounded by a moat and walls that are unfortunately mostly gone now. It's interesting because it's actually 1.6 kilometers square, or almost exactly 1 mile by 1 mile square.
The currency here is the Thai baht, but we went into detail about that in our video about Phuket, so you can watch that next if you want to know how to do an easy conversion.
I still think my way is easier.
It is. I've come around. I agree it is. Now let's take a look at the top 10 factors that matter most to us and probably the most to you as well, starting with walkability and public transportation.
I'm happy to tell you that it is more walkable compared to Phuket. It's not the most walkable city we've been to, but there are sidewalks and there are crosswalks, and I'll take that.
Yeah, and people actually stop for us. We've had people stop and wave us by and smile at us while we're doing it. However, I have seen a lot of people on crutches with bandaged ankles, legs, arms, so you have to really watch where you're walking because the sidewalks aren't exactly level. There's lots of things like sticking up, bumps in it, little holes. And I have tripped several times. I haven't fallen yet or hurt myself, but I have kind of twisted my ankle a couple times too.
Well, don't say yet.
I know. It jinx us.
We don't want to jinx us, yeah.
I can see it happening though, but it is still pretty walkable.
It is, but they also have Grab and tuk-tuks, of course, if you don't want to walk. We took Grabs a couple of times when we were going to places outside of the city and from the airport because of course we had our luggage, but really we've just walked all over the place. The tuk-tuks are really nice and easy to flag down all over the place, plus they have those little shared red mini buses, and then of course you've got taxis and public buses as well, so they do have a transportation system here.
Yeah, so what are we going to give this, Amelia? I'm thinking it's a big thumbs up.
I had to give it a thumbs up.
Especially compared to like some of the other places we've been that are just not walkable. All right, next up, we're going to talk about weather and natural disasters. The elevation is only 1,000 feet. We're surrounded by mountains. It feels like we should be higher than we are. It means it's not that cool compared to like Cuenca, which is at 8,400 feet. It's also a bit more humid. It's not horribly humid, but it is more humid here.
The sun has been intense since we've been here, which I guess that makes sense, but I was not prepared for that. You definitely need to wear your sunscreen. You are in a mountain town. This is a really good option if you want to live in the mountains, but you can't handle those high elevation cities. I really have enjoyed the fact that it is a bit cooler. It's still summer weather here, don't get me wrong. However, we have not had to run the air conditioning full time, and I have really enjoyed having a break from the constant AC.
Yeah, the average highs this time of year in the upper 70s has actually been about 10 degrees above normal. It's been in the mid to upper 80s since we've been here. So it's a bit warm to go out in the middle of the day, but it's still not too bad. We're in December, by the way, so it kind of gives you an idea. This is kind of their winter. So it's a little bit cooler than it gets in the summer.
They do have a rainy season, which is May through October, and they have a burn season, which can last anywhere from like 2 to 4 months. It starts in January, and it can last all the way through April. And from what we've heard, the air quality can be pretty horrible, and some people just choose to leave for a couple months during that time. I don't want to be here to experience that, but if you have been there, please let us know in the comments how bad it is.
The air quality isn't great right now, and if it gets worse during the burn season, I can't imagine how bad that would be. So I don't think I would want to be here for that either. Plus, they've had flooding last October. It was really bad here in Chiang Mai. A lot of the river overflowed. A lot of the streets and sidewalks still have dried mud on them. I'm going to have to say I'm giving this a thumbs down for the weather and natural disasters between the flooding and the air quality and the temperatures and humidity. I wouldn't say this is the best place to be.
Not for us, at least.
Yeah.
I have to agree. Thumbs down.
Yeah. All right. Next up is health insurance and health care. Okay. This has been a positive experience so far. We've actually had to partake in some of the health care.
Yes, we have.
And not my fault this time.
I'm happy to share it with you. Well, first of all, we heard from a lot of you that Thailand has excellent health care. And, well, we're happy to tell you we agree. Although maybe I'm not so happy to talk about it, but it was nothing bad. So I needed to go and get my prescription filled. We ended up going and checking out a couple of the small pharmacies around the area in which we're staying, and they were out of that. So I went to the Chiang Mai Ram Hospital, which is the main hospital here in the city. Well, we went in and asked for help, and they directed us to the international patients counter where they spoke English. They sat me down. They asked for my passport, which I did not have with me because I thought I was just going to the pharmacy, but I had a copy of it on my phone. That worked out. They got me enrolled. They basically held my hand, not literally, but walked me through the entire process. They said I need to go and see a doctor first. So I got an appointment within 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And sat
with an OBGYN,
yeah,
right?
Sat down. First I had to go in and get my vitals taken, and the tech there only spoke a little bit of English, so we used Google Translate. And so she typed and spoke in Thai, and I spoke in English, and it worked seamlessly. And then I went and met with the doctor who spoke fluent English, and he just did an intake of my medical history and just confirmed my medications. And then I got my prescription filled, and we were in and out of there in under 2 hours. And I had just walked in.
Yeah, and the doctor's appointment was $9.
Yes,
$9 to meet with an OBGYN. And we were in and out there in no time.
The overall experience was extremely impressive. The facility was very nice. Everyone was so friendly and helpful.
Thailand has both a public and a private system. And obviously we just did self-pay. We don't have insurance that would cover us here. We only have insurance for emergencies. And this wasn't an emergency, just a regular care. But $9, that's like way less than our copay was back in the US. So I'm going to give this a big thumbs up.
Oh, heck yeah.
Big thumbs up for healthcare here in Thailand. And we've heard great things about the healthcare in Bangkok as well.
Yes. So hopefully we won't have to find out firsthand, but if we do, believe me, we'll let you know.
So we're going to talk about everyone's favorite topic next, which is food. I think that's everyone's favorite topic because those videos always get viewed on YouTube. But first, we want to talk about something that we use every single day while we're traveling.
We always use a VPN or a virtual private network to keep us safe online, and that is why we are happy to talk about Surfshark, today's sponsor.
We've been traveling throughout Europe and now Southeast Asia, and we're using public Wi-Fis all the time in airports, train stations, hotels, Airbnbs, restaurants, cafes, and we always use a VPN to protect our privacy.
Surfshark secures our data and our identity by protecting us from hackers, ransomware attacks, and phishing scams, and they never log or collect our data, so we feel safe knowing that no one is tracking us.
We also use Surfshark for streaming because we realize in different countries we get different programming options so we can still watch all of our favorite shows regardless of where we are in the world.
Right now, Surfshark has a special holiday deal for December. It's $1.99 a month, plus you get 4 months extra.
That's a killer deal.
I know it is.
You know, and Surfshark also has 24/7 support. You can use one account for all of your devices, and there's no risk because they offer a 30-day money-back guarantee.
Just scan this QR code or go to surfshark.com/AAJP to get 4 months extra of Surfshark at an unbeatable price.
And now everyone's favorite topic, restaurants and groceries, and we're happy to say that you're going to eat a lot while you're here because there's a lot of options and they're all delicious.
Yeah, maybe that's not such a good thing. I don't know. But you have a lot of really good restaurants to choose from. You have a wide variety for all palates and all budgets. And we found everything to be much more affordable here. The costs are more comparable to Albania and Ecuador.
Yeah, it's a lot cheaper than Phuket. And I would say maybe even a little cheaper than Kuala Lumpur.
Yeah.
It's similar though.
Similar.
So we did, of course, find the Indian restaurant. I know we're in Thailand and we have had some Thai food and it's delicious, but we're Indian food junkies. So that's the first thing we always seek out. In fact, we usually try to stay by an Indian restaurant. That's how bad it is.
Yeah, we have a problem.
Yes, we do have a problem. We ate there like the first 4 days straight. It was so good. It was Southern Indian cooking, just like we like it. It's the best we've had since we left Ecuador.
However, they also have a lot of food stalls in the night markets. Well, and they have some in the daytime too, but they are extremely popular, partly because people go out later on in the day to avoid the heat of the day. But you have a wide variety of very affordable options to choose from in all those food markets too. They're kind of like an outdoor food court.
We also want to talk about the great service that we've been getting here. The service is top notch and it's not a tipping culture either. It's okay to tip like 10% or maybe just round up if it's a cash bill. They don't expect a big tip, but they still get good service anyway. And it's kind of more of a zone service philosophy here. So we don't generally don't have just one server. It's usually everybody is taking care of us while we're there, which I actually really appreciate because we're never left wanting for anything.
That is true.
One thing we noticed though is a lot of the places only take cash. So we've had to go to the ATM several times to withdraw money because we can't use our credit cards.
The grocery stores here are also top notch. I have really enjoyed grocery shopping. We went to Tops, which there is one in the Central Festival Chiang Mai Mall. They are very nice, very well stocked. Same goes for Rimping, another super nice grocery store with a lot of different options. JP pointed out they even have old El Paso there.
I know, it's so weird to see old El Paso here in northern Thailand.
Yes, it is. But a lot of Asian spices and European food. So again, you're going to find a really nice variety of stuff.
The Big C, which is the closest grocery store we go to most often. I would say it's more like a neighborhood grocery store, kind of like a Tia in Ecuador. And there's, of course, a big market. There's several markets. There's lots of little shops around in the neighborhoods as well.
And we did see a couple of places to buy organic food and special health food, so you can find what you need.
And it's also extremely affordable.
Yes.
The restaurants were affordable. The groceries are affordable. I'm going to give this a huge thumbs up for the restaurant and groceries category.
100% agree. Okay, what is next?
Okay, housing. Housing is next.
Housing.
It's a very important factor if you want to live someplace. And we're happy to report it's much cheaper than Phuket was.
It is, and you're going to find a variety of housing. There are some newer high-rise condos. You can find what you're looking for. We've been pretty happy where we stayed. It's comfortable.
Yeah, we are staying in kind of a high-rise building here with a awesome view of the Shangri-La Hotel. And I have to say we have a bit of pool envy because we've been watching the hotel residents go use their pool, and it's so relaxing and beautiful looking.
It is, although there is a pool here too, which we could use.
Yeah.
But it doesn't look resorted. Well, actually, it kind of does.
It does look a bit resortish. So you can expect to spend anywhere from $300 to $700, and that's for a long-term lease if you want to come here and live for 12 months at a time, which is really affordable. It really depends on where you want to live and how nice you want the place and how big it is. So it's impossible to say exactly what it would be, but you can budget kind of in that range.
Yeah, so I think we should give housing a thumbs up.
I agree. Thumbs up.
Thumbs up for affordability.
And niceness.
And niceness?
Niceness.
Okay, what's next? Infrastructure.
Yeah, they have an airport right here in the heart of town, which may contribute to some of the air quality issues. In fact, we can see the airplanes taking off from our place here. So that it's nice. It's a good and a bad thing because it's very convenient and it is an international airport. So you can get to other areas in this region, which is nice.
Yeah.
They have fast internet. We have 200 meg up and down here where we are.
There are some downsides. You cannot drink the tap water here, which is kind of disappointing. You can't flush the toilet paper. So I know a lot of our viewers that are outside of the US and Canada do not understand why we bring this up, but to Americans and Canadians, it is important.
Yeah, we're not used to using the bum guns like some people call it in our comments. So we had to actually look up online when we came to Europe how to use those. Like, what are these little hoses for next to the toilet? Because we don't even have those in Ecuador.
No, in Europe they had the whole separate.
Yeah, and the bidets, we had separate bidets in Europe. So that was a difference when we came here. So
yes.
Also, another big downside here is the sewer smell. It has been kind of bad. Why? And maybe this is due to the leftovers from the flooding, but just walking down the streets, we smell it all the time. Sometimes it's really strong. We were walking down a sidewalk and there was water on it. We didn't think anything of it till we were halfway across the water and realized it was sewer water, and it smelled horrible. And we have sewer smells in our condo here too. It's not pleasant.
No, it is not pleasant. And we've experienced this in other areas too, in Europe, in Ecuador, in Denver. I mean, it does happen, but it's a lot worse here than I was expecting.
This is the worst that we've experienced, I think.
Agree.
Even worse than Mexico, definitely worse than Albania and Denver.
Yes.
There was one spot in Denver by our condo downtown that was bad, but it's a lot of places here. So I don't know, between all of the good stuff and the bad stuff, I'm going to give it a thumb sideways, I think. Yeah,
I agree. We can't really give it a thumbs down because the internet is fantastic. Having that international airport, that's really nice. It has a lot going for it. And maybe the sewer smell isn't this bad all the time.
Yeah, we haven't had any issues with electricity outages either.
No, we haven't. You're right.
So the roads are nice too. It's got a lot of good and some bad, and I can't give it a full thumbs up.
No place is perfect.
The next factor is the language barrier. And you would think being in northern Thailand, it's not a big populated city like Bangkok. You would think it would be harder for us to communicate, but it's just not. No. It's been pretty easy. I would say it's been easy for us to speak English here.
It has. I mean, we haven't encountered a lot of fluent English speakers, but you can get by for sure. However, if you want to move here, you definitely should take some Thai classes, which would be a great place to meet other people.
I'm going to give it a thumbs up still, though, because it has not been a challenge at all to communicate.
Thumbs up. I completely agree.
Yeah. Next up is safety and stability, one of the most important factors for everybody, I think. We felt very safe here. We have been walking around at night. I mean, they have all the night markets, so everybody's out walking around at night by themselves. We've seen lots of young single women in their 20s, foreigners who are probably digital nomads living here or traveling through here, and they're out at night by themselves. And we see families with young kids, locals and foreigners. I mean, it feels extremely safe.
It does. It's very family friendly here. There is definitely an older community of people here. I've seen older seniors out walking by themselves. I hate to use that word senior because I'm not a senior yet.
We're in our 50s, people. We're Gen X.
Yeah.
We're not boomers.
We're not retired. But anyway, we digress totally. Yeah, it feels very safe here. It feels like it's very neighborly. People are friendly and welcoming and helpful too, which adds to that feeling of safety. And, it's pretty stable here.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to give this a big thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
If you're excited about slow travel and moving abroad like we are, then be sure to hit the subscribe button and like this video so that YouTube shows you more of our videos, because we're going to help you do that with the videos that we post on our channel. Next up is quality of life. These are things like cultural activities, things to do, local friendliness, social activities, expat community, all that kind of stuff we roll into the quality of life factor.
There is a lot going on in here and around this area that is going to keep you engaged and entertained. There's a lot of cultural things you can experience, like all of the temples. There's museums, festivals. There's a lot of live music in the evenings. You can learn how to speak Thai. Cooking classes are a big deal, so you can also learn how to cook Thai. You are not going to get bored.
We've also seen some restaurants, and we've seen this in other places that are popular with foreigners. There's like a restaurant where all the foreigners gather, and we were surprised. We walked by one thinking we would hear English, and I think it was German. So it was a whole restaurant just full of German people, like sitting out, having coffee and talking to one another. We saw this in Cuenca a lot. There were several places in Cuenca that we're talking about Ecuador, not Spain, that were really popular with the expat community, and they would all congregate there and all talk to each other. So you can definitely find that here, and I'm guessing you can find it based on what language you speak.
I think it's really cool because there are so many international travelers and people living here. So you're going to really have a unique circle of friends with a lot of different experiences and cultures that they're bringing to the table. And of course, you want to get to know the locals too. So I think that's really exciting. There's also a lot of outdoor activities. So if you are a nature lover and you want to go out and go hiking and go experience those beautiful waterfalls and things like that, they're pretty close by.
Yeah, and there are those massage parlors, Amelia. I'm not really sure what those are for, but I don't think they're for massage purely. So, but anyway, we see those all over the place. They have like flashing lights and darkened windows and stuff.
That is true. Yes.
So if that's your cup of tea, they have that. Also, Mary Jane is legal. So Mary Jane can come here if she wants to.
I'm not sure. I think it's medical.
Medical Mary Jane.
I'm not positive.
Nurse Mary Jane.
I did not look up the laws. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be medical, but regardless, that you can find it all over the place.
Yeah, it's everywhere. In fact, if you just want to go stand on your balcony and take a few deep breaths, you probably don't even need to buy it yourself because you're going to be smelling it quite a bit.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why the locals are so happy.
Maybe. I think they were happy before they passed this law.
Yeah. And also we mentioned the international airport being so close. That's nice. So you can go to places like Japan and the Philippines, Singapore. It's a kind of a Southeast or Asia airport, so you can't fly to the US or Europe from here, but you can go to an airport that goes to those places.
Right.
So that's pretty nice.
The only thing I don't like as much is that they don't have a lot of parks inside the city. There's a lot of trees and things like that, so it's not like you're just looking at the concrete jungle, but I do miss a nice park.
Mm-hmm. I think overall, though, I'm going to give this a big thumbs up for quality of life, just because I feel like people are happy and there's so much to do, and there's a lot here. I think that this would be a great place for a really high quality of life.
I agree. I think that too. There's something for everybody here, so you're going to be able to fit in regardless of whatever you like to do. Whether you want something more laid back or you want to be a lot more like energetic, and you're going to find it here.
Mm-hmm. All right, next up, Visa Queen. She's going to tell us about the visas. This is the 10th factor because if you want to live here, you have to have some sort of visa.
Well, I am happy to tell you that Thailand has a variety of visas. They have a retirement visa, a digital nomad visa, a long-term residency visa. They also have their elite series of visas, and they just introduced a new bronze series or bronze level.
And we're here on the 60-day tourist visa. Americans can come here visa free. They did not ask for a departure date when we entered here. Some Malaysia did. We actually had to buy a ticket while we were waiting in line at the airport before we could check into our flight. But when we came from KL to Thailand, they did not ask for that. So that's a nice thing. But
yeah,
we will definitely be leaving before the 60 days are up. Actually, we're only going to be here for a couple more weeks, I think.
They did put a timestamp, like a date stamp when your visa expires, right? And it's stamped clearly on your passport.
Yeah, I think this is a country that we really missed the boat on with our 15 easiest countries to move to, Amelia, because I think it's pretty easy to move here. I'm going to give this a thumbs up for visas.
Yes, I have to agree. Sorry, Thailand, I left you off that list. You get a thumbs up.
All right, and now for the verdict is how did Chiang Mai rate here? We have 8 thumbs up, 1 thumbs down, and 1 thumb sideways. So that's a pretty good score. I don't know though. Amelia doesn't seem convinced. I actually really like it here, and I like it, I think, quite a bit more than Amelia does.
I don't dislike it. I do like it here. However, I don't feel a connection to it like I have in some other cities. So I'm not ready to commit to you, Chiang Mai. I'm sorry. I can't really even put my finger on what it is. I do like it, but I want to explore more areas.
To me, I like it. It feels like an Asian version of Cuenca, Ecuador to me, which is still my favorite place, Cuenca. It's just instead of like the old cathedral, we have the old temple here, and the new cathedral, we have the new temple, and we have the city center, the historic center, and we have great restaurants, and where we're staying is kind of like Gringolandia. Maybe we would have liked it better if we would have stayed in a locals neighborhood like we did in Cuenca.
We might have.
So I liked it, and I think we would be happy living here, except during the burn season, and a lot of people just leave for 2 months during that season.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you wanted to travel for 2 months a year, I think if you wanted to live here 12 months and not have to travel, that would be rough because it's apparently the air quality is just really bad that time of year.
I would agree with that. I don't know. I just don't feel,
I know,
I'm
it's
not
weird.
It. I don't know. I'm sorry, guys. I know you guys are going to be upset with me.
This is weird, too, because normally we agree on this stuff, but I honestly think we could be happy living here.
I'm sure we would be happy.
Yeah. All right. So what do you guys think about Chiang Mai? Is it still on your list of places to visit or to live? Let us know in the comments below. We're really interested to see what you guys think about it.
And if you want to know what we really think about Southeast Asia, then check out these videos next.
All right, guys, that's all we have for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and we really appreciate that. Also, leave us a like. That makes us happy. We will see you all in our next video. Ciao.
Ciao.